Hello everyone, I am here with packing tips. I'm getting ready for a trip and there are just some things that are not the norm. I feel like they don't always come up on a packing list, but I have found that they were really helpful. So one thing that I'm going to strongly encourage you to have, especially if you're going to a warm tropical place. To be fair, most of my tips lean towards the warm tropical places because I don't go where it's cold of my own free will. So just know that a lot of these tips may be leaning towards the more tropical areas. But if you're going to a place where there's going to have a lot of insects, we'll say, it may be mosquitoes or other things that make you itch. One good thing that I found was really helpful was itch relief stick. Very convenient. I was in Austin and they had the mosquitoes out like no other, and I was bathing in this pretty much. And it's really simple because you literally just shake it and then you can just apply it directly onto the skin wherever it's itchy. And so it's really efficient, it's not messy, you don't have to smell like anything. So definitely this one is by Benadryl, and you know, they will knock you out, but luckily we don't have to drink this. So Benadryl itch relief stick, really helpful. Another thing that's going to be really helpful are Clorox wipes. Those of us who are very paranoid about germs and who's been in that hotel room completely understand why having a pack of Clorox wipes or any other sanitation wipes would be really helpful. You can clean down the room and you can feel a little bit more secure if you're the type of paranoid that would need to have such an item. This one is a first aid kit. It doesn't have to be this first aid kit, but it needs to be a first aid kit. You never know what's gonna go wrong, you never know, and it could be something minor. So for instance, one time either my niece or my nephew ended up with a small cut, and I was able to give a band-aid, and we didn't have to go find the medical office on the resort or anything like that because I had what was necessary. This one I actually got through FSA store, and I was able to use my FSA. So technically, it was money that was already set aside and it's pre-tax money. So bonus points there. And I did that, and it's got everything from gloves, it's got different size bandages, antibiotic ointment. It really is a good setup. And so if you can find, at least at the very minimum, carry some band-aids and some antiseptic. So anything to help kill the germs. It also helps to have like pain reliever, so aspirin or ibuprofen or Tylenol. Those are also really helpful. But in general, you should bring some first aid with you in case it's difficult to find or they don't have any type of medical facilities near the resort, or if you're staying in a hotel that doesn't have those types of facilities. So this one, definitely for those places that tend to have the insects. I really don't like it bugs, y'all. So gotta have insect repellent. I do whatever I can to prevent having mosquitoes in my life. So whatever brand you feel like works for you, you can get the ones that are lemon scented or whatever, but especially if you can get a smaller size so that you can take it with you. This one is actually only 2.5 ounces, so this can go in a carry-on as well, so you don't have to worry about having to take your larger bag if you're not the type to want to do that. So you may think I'm doing a little bit too much when it comes to this one. However, I last time brought with me dishwashing liquid. The reason being is I brought my insulated cup. It wasn't Stanley, that was one thing back then. But I brought an insulated cup because they will fill those for you. And so if you want your drink to be cold for longer and possibly get a little bit more in there, bring a decent sized insulated mug or cup. And this was in order to get it clean. I just don't trust hand soap to do it. Can you just use the hand soap that's available? They don't really have, usually they only have bar soaps in a hotel, and that's part of the reason why as well. If there was a hand soap that came out of a dispenser, I probably wouldn't find it useful, but I'm not using bar soap to clean my things, so I brought Palmolive spray. Now this one is not small enough in order to fit in a carry-on. However, I have seen ones that were smaller, so you can do that. I check my bags as long as I'm flying Southwest, because that's the whole point. But outside of that, for those that don't have the free checked bags, see if you can get a smaller travel size version, but bring some dishwashing liquid if you're going to be using things like insulated cups. So this one is actually something that I probably got off Pinterest or some online packing list, and originally people thought I was doing too much, but it came in handy. So I've got Tide detergent packs. This one was a pack of 3 little smaller packs, and it's liquid detergent so that you can wash in the sink. It was really helpful with being able to clean something on the day of. When one of my Nimblings had a little accident overnight, they were able to wash out any issues in their clothes and didn't have to pay for laundry services, which at most places are not free. So if you want to be able to do a quick clean, if you have kids, if you are a little messy, you eat messy, this is a really great option for you if you want to be able to rewear something along during your trip. So this one is definitely for those places that have the bright sun. Your sunscreen may not do exactly what it's supposed to do, or you might forget to use your sunscreen the way it's supposed to be used. Either way, be prepared, have some aloe. Aloe vera helps so much when you have the sunburn happening. You can't use the itch relief spray that I talked about before because it's not meant for it and probably will irritate any sunburn that you have. So make sure to bring aloe vera. I'm telling you, aloe vera has saved my life so many times with actual burns, sunburns. This is something that you want to have with you. So this item I didn't actually end up using on my last trip when I brought it, so I actually may have been doing too much. However, I had read reviews online and people had said something about weird smells in the hotel, and I didn't want to do that. So I brought one of those little air freshener things that you just pop open and it stays open throughout the time, and it helps keep things fresh smelling throughout your vacation time. Hopefully my next trip does not require it either, but I stay prepared. If you're able to have a checked bag and you don't have to worry about whether or not it counts as a liquid, I don't think it should, but just in case, you might want to be careful. But that would be a really great opportunity. Or if you're able to have a smaller spray, but in case, if you read the reviews and there's any rumors of not the freshest smell in the hotel, either don't go there or find something that you can bring along with you to help address it. So what don't I bring? I did not bring a portable speaker. If you have a group of people staying in a room together, then maybe for the party, need the music to have it going, feel free to have it. Although a lot of times my phone was enough in order to use for music, so I haven't actually needed it for that. And then if you're outside on the beach, or particularly if you're near the pool when there's a DJ, you're just disrupting the flow of the DJ. We already got music. We don't need your music on top of it. So if you're going to have a portable speaker, try to keep that to your own room. I was going through different Pinterest lists and online lists for packing lists, and someone mentioned a cord organizer, and that one I didn't understand. I only bring for charging 2 cords. I do live that Android life, so I don't need a special cord for my phone, but 2 cords will charge my phone, my tablet, my wireless charger, and I have a wireless port for my watch. Even with a smartwatch, I can pretty much charge everything I need with 2 cords. So unless you're carrying a lot of cords because you're trying to work while you're abroad, or if you're trying to carry free, your family members, your kids. Maybe that's why, but outside of that, a cord organizer is kind of excessive and just another item that you have to keep up with. So one thing that I don't generally bring that I can sometimes see on lists are power strips. A lot of times people worry about there being enough outlets in a room, and so in order to avoid that, you have a power strip with multiple outlets. There is some credence to it. Not all hotels have a decent number of outlets. However, what you will probably face is, especially outside the US, you may not find as many that have the 3 prongs, and a lot of power strips have 3 prongs. So you won't be able to plug in the power strip anyway. Most times when the power strip is really useful is something like when you're on a cruise. Those were intended and designed for the populations that would have a 3-prong outlet, and people can be prepared for that. So you may be able to use it more easily. And I feel like cruises, people always suggest power strips for cruises because they especially have very few outlets and everyone knows it. But for most hotels, you may be hit or miss about whether or not you'll ever be able to use a power strip if you bring it along. Thank you for watching Where the Doctor Travels. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure that you're up to date on what's coming up next. Bye.